Hello and welcome to Intelligent Movie Reviews. Today I'm going to be reviewing the thriller Wind River. Please be aware that there are a few spoilers potentially ahead. Wind River is a chilling murder mystery thriller starring Elizabeth Olsen and Jeremy Renner, set in the winter wilds of Wyoming. I'll start by saying Wind River is a really great film. If you're looking for a thriller with lots of drama, mystery, intrigue, strong acting and great characters, with a brilliant script and an interesting story, with a major twist in the middle, then you could do a lot worse. When a local girl is reported missing and is found frozen to death in the wilderness, it's up to the underfunded and poorly staffed local police force to track down the killer and bring him or her to justice. They are aided by a local tracker and also a rookie FBI agent. What I liked about Wind River is it's one of those thrillers where you know exactly what you're going to get. It could be argued that there are some classic murder mystery and thriller tropes at play here, and that in some ways that could make the story and the film somewhat formulaic. And whilst that's a fair assessment, do stick with this film because just over halfway through comes one hell of a twist that will leave you questioning everything you've watched up to that point. Wind River is what I would define as a stop-start film, and this is where I tend to lose focus with the movie because the pace is rather slow, and I find myself abandoning it to go off and do something else, only to return later on. And whilst the first half of the film is admittedly almost glacial, stick with it because the second act will have you on the edge of your seat. In fact, the slow pace of the first half is an acceptable feature of this movie, since it allows us to really get to know the characters, and also fleshes out things like personalities, backstory, and also Native American society. So this is a film just as much about the murder of a beautiful young woman as it is about the lives of people in a frozen, bitter backwater, their daily struggles, poverty, and the sense of an indigenous community having been left behind and disenfranchised, as well as familial loss through tragic events. It's also a film very much about masculinity, and what makes it particularly interesting is the way that Wind River dives below the surface of male identity. I'll be honest and admit that I found several of the male characters awkward, stiff, and particularly impenetrable. But this is quite intentional. There are men like these everywhere in the real world. So Wind River can definitely be seen as an examination of modern masculinity. And there is much to digest here. Each character struggles with their own egos, outward displays of strength, machismo, internal emotions, and so on. These are men bred not to display weakness or vulnerability. And what's clever is the way in which the director Taylor Sheridan shows chinks in the psychological armour of these male characters, whether it's the raw emotion in the eyes of the murder victim's father, or in the scene where Renner's character recounts to Olsen's FBI agent about the loss of his own daughter tragically several years earlier. The film also deals with toxic masculinity, and in particular in the final act where we witness a standoff between two groups of men that's all aggression, brutality, machismo, testosterone, and guns. And when the murderer is finally revealed and the events leading up to the murder are depicted, we see men behaving at their worst. And in particular, we see the group and how the dereliction of responsibility in the group can instill behaviour that is truly despicable and leads to evil acts. So when I say Wind River gets under the surface of masculinity, what it really does is it exposes the dark underbelly of male machismo and weakness and fickle, despicable characters. There is also a message here of hope and redemption, though, with regard to masculinity, and in Renner's character as the hero, he redeems all of the wrong that's gone before. In the final scenes, we see him take on almost mythical, super-heroic proportions. As the loner in the movie, he puts many wrongs right, and his vengeance on the killer is a scene to truly relish, if you enjoy the idea of karma and rough justice being meted out on the weak and the evil. Taylor Sheridan is apparently a fan of Clint Eastwood, and in particular his western Unforgiven, Wind River is a film that Eastwood himself would almost certainly be proud to have made had it been one of his. Reviewers who claim that the movie is borderline racist because it depicts whites as the saviors rushing in to aid the poor Native Americans completely miss the point. This is actually a sensitive, intelligent, sometimes brutal and multi-layered movie that treats its Native American characters with humanity, respect and integrity. When Renner's character sits down next to the murdered girl's father at the end of the film, the message is the same. These are two men struggling daily to lead good lives, both of whom have lost their daughters in tragic circumstances. And here, finally, they are both equal. The message goes much deeper than the blinkers of certain viewers whose every view of the world is governed by politically correct wrongthink. Also, I hadn't considered this film as being a Western, but the more I think about it, the more it seems to fit the genre. Perhaps in years to come, Wind River could be considered as one of the first true Westerns of the modern era. I also saw many parallels here with the Scandi noir genre. Fans of Scandinavian noir movies, novels, and drama series will find much to enjoy in Wind River. Ultimately, though, this is Renner's and Sheridan's film. Whilst I enjoy Renner's acting, one feels as though he's often not been given the opportunity to really shine. Since many of his movies are action pieces, it's rare that we get to see him playing a character with this much depth and this three-dimensional. He does a fantastic job depicting a character who is strong, tough, heroic, dependable, damaged, and who in brief moments is not ashamed to show emotion and humanity as someone who has been battered and wounded by many cruel twists of fate. As this is Sheridan's first film as director, he's made a really powerful, thrilling, multi-layered, beautifully photographed, well-written, gutsy, bold thriller with several important messages. One hopes that Sheridan's body of work is as prolific as that of Clint Eastwood's. Now, what would I recommend to watch alongside Wind River? My choices are two brilliant thriller classics, Fargo and Insomnia. Very similar in terms of the thriller content, murder mystery, and also the frozen setting. So, in summary then, I would award Wind River a very strong 8 out of 10. A great directorial debut from Taylor Sheridan with strong performances from Olsen and Renner in a stunning murder mystery thriller with great cinematography, script, direction, and a plot twist that you just won't see coming. With themes centered on loss, redemption, revenge, masculinity, aggression, brutality, wilderness, and heroism, Wind River is a truly great film. Do please make a point of going to see it. So thank you for listening, and I look forward to providing you with a new review very soon. Thank you.